So we're live, and I've got a bit of a croaky voice today, but I am here with Jack and Nick from Njori, and it's so exciting to have you here. It's a really big day because some amazing news has just come through about their Kickstarter campaign. But I would love to say hello to you both and welcome. And please do both just a quick introduction about yourself and about Njori would be amazing, and then we can crack on with some of the questions.
Sure.
Do you want to go, Nick?
Sure. Yeah, so I mean, myself and Jack are both design engineers originally. And we used to work together for a number of years. We used to sit together and talk about food a lot. And during those conversations, we often talked about the products that we wished we had that didn't exist. And essentially, this was one of them. And yeah, from there we decided to kind of take the jump and develop our own product. Because we used to work with a lot of companies that came in and did the same thing. So we thought we could do it better, basically.
Yeah.
Amazing. So Jack, how long have you known each other, and how long have you been doing Njori together?
Well, we've known each other for a long time, actually. I think straight after we each graduated from different unis, but we both ended up doing the same internship way back in the day, like fresh out of uni. We worked there for, well, quite a while each. And then we've, along the way, we keep getting a job separately, and then we bring the other one along. So we've actually worked together in quite a few jobs along the way. One will get a job, bring the other one. The other one will get a job, bring the other one. And
that's cool.
Before Njori, the last job we had, our desks were right next to each other, and yeah, like Nick said, we were just chatting food the whole time. We were sort of saying that, we always come up with ideas for like projects or companies and stuff, and this was one that we were just like, after a while, normally we'd talk about it and then we'd convince ourselves why it wouldn't work or whatever, whereas this one we just never found a reason why it wouldn't work, and why they did, the idea stood up, and we were sort of thought, if it existed, we would buy one each, and here we are.
Amazing. And I suppose the really good thing about that is because you'd worked together for so long and you sort of sat alongside each other and you'd been talking about all these business ideas, you already knew your co-founder, and you'd kind of worked with them and knew you could work together, because a lot of people, they set up a business with someone that they've never actually worked with, and then it's quite a different different when you're actually working with them. So I love that you tested each other out for a long time before you set up a business together.
Yeah, I guess it can happen quite organically like that. But yeah, we know we work together very well. In fact, like we're both design engineers, product designers, and we've worked together so many times on so many projects together because our skill sets really do complement each other. Nick's like very good at the aesthetic and concept design, whereas I'm a bit more of the mechanical sort of workings of things. So yeah, even when we were working in the same companies, we were quite often teamed up. We really do each other's sort of working styles very well.
That's good. That's so good to be complimentary. So tell me a bit about the Njori Tempo. What is it for those people who are listening and they don't actually know what it is, this amazing product that you've created?
In a nutshell, it's a portable induction cooker. But different to other portable induction cookers, ours has quite a bit of systems and sensors built into it, which basically measures and monitors temperature and weight. So because induction is so efficient, you get this feedback loop, which means you're constantly monitoring a temperature something, and the cooker automatically regulates it. So when you're putting something in a pan, it's always going to be at that temperature and you're not going to burn it. And likewise, if you're putting cold ingredients into the pan, rather than having to fiddle with the dial and try and rebalance the temperature of the pan, the cooker is going to have you covered. So it just means it's very versatile for kind of a number of different functions, basically.
Yeah.
And it's for anyone, is it? I mean, who's going to be buying this product? You say adventurous chefs. I love that. I love that description.
Yeah, we've targeted the home chef. I mean, it's the sort of precision that you can only really get with professional equipment. So professional chefs spend a lot more on their kit, and they've got like a single piece of kit for each thing that they do, probably because they have to use them all simultaneously. Whereas ours is aimed at the home cook, not only is it like much more affordable than sort of comparable products, but it really is like super versatile. We can use it for all sorts of different techniques. Like we found that with the very few sensors that we've implemented, we can achieve like a lot. So we put these preset modes where you can use it for like a sous vide cooker. You can use it as like a temperature controlled deep fryer. You can use it as a slow cooker that has, you know, temperature probes to monitor your internal temperatures and that sort of thing. You can even use it as like a automatic rice cooker and things like that. So it's it's
all in one. Is it all in one? Is it all you need in your kitchen?
We're really trying to avoid like the, you know, it's a 5-in-1 type thing, like you know, like as seen on TV type product. We're trying to say it's just a versatile cooker that can do loads of things that you can't do otherwise. But with these systems, you really don't need an additional sous vide cooker. You don't need a slow cooker. You don't need one of these. You know, it's going to save you so much cupboard space. So it really is sort of like most useful for the home cook. But
amazing.
We had a few professional chefs repping it on there.
Yeah, no, I saw that there was people and people who sort of go and do dinner parties and stuff. But I've got mine. I'm super excited, and I know my husband's going to love it because he loves all that kind of gadgetry.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, so let's just talk about. I mean, you've already done one crowdfunding round, and then more recently, you have last night you launched your Kickstarter campaign, and you've already overfunded. How does that feel to do that in less than 24 hours? That's amazing. And also, as part of that sort of topic of conversation, why did you choose to go with Kickstarter? Sorry, that's two different questions in one, isn't it? But you know, answer either or both.
Well,
I mean, I'll go for it, Jack. Well, I was going to say the answer to the first question about how you feel about it. I mean, initially terrified because it's been a long time coming. I think this product, and it's sort of our chance to finally put it out into the world. So it's like really exciting, but yeah, very scary at the same time. But we're feeling really good about how it's going, and yeah, it's very exciting to be able to put it out to such a wide audience, which kind of follows into the second question a little bit. Kickstarter is essentially just a great platform to test the water. You know, it's a worldwide platform. It has, you know, hugely popular in the US, and there's kind of no better way to really try out a product at the earliest stage possible in the US and, you know, other places. So it kind of gives us the visibility on like which markets might be useful for us, but it also helps us build a community of like fellow cooks basically as well.
Amazing. And so do you know where all of your backers, have you got any, you know, early indications of where those people who've bought the product so far have come from? Is it mainly like your investors and, you know, your connections in the UK, or is it from this wider Kickstarter audience?
I'm not entirely sure yet.
Too early days.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, we haven't actually had the campaign live for very long, and I haven't really dug into the details of it yet.
No, well, I know you've been probably busy watching. I mean, it was quite amazing actually, because it launched last night, and I could 15 minutes in, you had something like 70 backers. So I'm assuming that the hard work that you did in kind of building that audience and connecting with people in advance, initially it's going to be a lot of those people, isn't it, who already sort of know, like, and trust the brand. But that's amazing. So, and are you, it's going to carry on funding, and have you got a sort of a stretch target that you want to get to, or are you just going to see what happens?
We've got a few things in mind for like stretch goal things that we might introduce along the way, but we sort of got to play it by ear. I mean, you know, as it shows, we've reached our
so that's traction, isn't it? People want it in just a day. You've got, and I think I was reading a really interesting article about Kickstarter actually, how even like big brands like Lego will sometimes use it before they launch a product to test the market. And I think what Nick was saying is so interesting is, you know, you're going to get feedback and you're going to find out which people in which countries are interested and all those kind of things. And in fact, I was having a call with someone in Australia today, and he was like, wow, I love that product, it's amazing. So, you know, I'm sure this is going to be a global brand. So talk to me about the sort of the different stages of growth, because obviously I met you when you had got your first round of funding, and then, you know, we've been working on the strategy and plan for growth, and you've done Kickstarter, but there's been a lot of different stages in that. I mean, even getting the first round of funding, that must have been a massive project in itself. So you decided to set up the business, and then what happened from there? How long did it take you to get your first lot of funding? And, talk me through each step of the process.
Yeah, it's definitely been a long journey. I don't think we probably gave enough credit to how long it takes to put like a funding round together. Because I think we, not long after we kind of went full time on this, we did sort of a friends and family round, which is just to kind of like kick things off, get as much traction as we could. But we always knew that in order to get to sort of the final product, we'd probably have to do 2 rounds. So it's always kind of been a case of get as much traction with the money we can, and then get to the next stage, and then use that to build as much traction. And I mean, the fact is, like, developing hardware is just really expensive. And obviously, coming from like a development background, we sort of knew how much it would cost, and we also knew the pitfalls you fall into if you don't budget accordingly. So yeah, it's been tough, but it's been a kind of very set route. So
it feels like you're quite relaxed about, you seem to hit all the target, all the things that you want to happen, and you seem to be quite relaxed about it. And other startups that I meet, they're very kind of like, I don't know, just desperate to sort of get things going. But I think, is it because you've worked in that industry for so long that you just know that these things take a lot of time and there's a lot of money involved, and you've been realistic about that?
Maybe, yeah, slightly realistic expectations, I guess. But yeah, we keep harking back to when we used to work together and our old job. We had quite a few clients at the time come through the door saying that, we've had a successful Kickstarter campaign. Now we just need you to do the development for it. And so many times we saw that, and quite often the amount that they'd raised in total wasn't even close to how much just the development is, let alone manufacturing and delivering, which is what they're supposed to do, all of that within that finite amount of money. And we saw so many people fall down this hole, like, firsthand. So almost invariably they would say on their campaigns that, imply at least that they've done the development and all they need to do is manufacture. So we sort of like swore to each other back in the day that if we ever do this, that we would make sure that we had done the development and it's like ready to go by the time we go live with it. And we, so I think we sort of, when we signed up for this, we knew we had to be quite patient with it, and we knew that we were going to just have to chuck so much money into the whole of development and stuff, so much time, so much money, to get to a place where we now can confidently tell people that the product's ready to go. I mean, there's obviously still loads of stuff to do. We've got like, still got to manufacture it, and there's a load of tweaking along the way. We've still got to do certification. But that's, we've come as far as we can. And we were quite realistic about how much it was going to cost and how long it was going to take. I mean, obviously, it hasn't been a great year. It has taken a bit of a hit to our timeline. Had a few stumbling blocks along the way that's cost us a bit of money. But all in all, it's been a long road. But
you're getting traction, aren't you? And you can see. Yeah. So, is it an ongoing with? The kind of products that you're creating, is it an ongoing funding journey? Like, you've got your Kickstarter and you're going to have to just keep funding, getting funding. Is there any point where you can just sit back and relax and let the money come in?
I guess that's the dream. Yeah, the plan we'd always had, I guess, was that we wanted to build like a brand and we want to build other products. So I think we weren't kidding ourselves. We always knew that we'd probably have to do a few different funding rounds to get that growth going. Because to create other products as well. I think the next few we create probably won't be quite so technical. But we want to create accessories for this product, and we've got other little ideas in the pipeline. So I think we're kind of we're aware that it's going to require quite a bit of capital, but we also want to grow like a real like a brand that people are loyal to, and a brand that actually creates quite exciting products in the kitchen. I think there is a definite gap in the market for it.
Yeah. So for such a saturated like industry, like the sort of food, cooking, just tools, I think there's quite an interesting niche here for like quite affordable but technically advanced kit. So we think we snuck in there.
Yeah, I think you have. You definitely got a great little niche, but also this is something that so many people want, isn't it? Like people just love being able to create amazing food from home, and it's exciting, and it's a big hobby for lots of people. So I want to touch on something that you just mentioned then, Nick and Jack, which is the brand. You know, like you want this to be a big brand, and Njori is the name of the brand, and the first product is the Tempo. So I know that the branding process was, you know, you invested quite a lot of money and a lot of time and effort into the branding process, and a lot of startups and people relatively early on in their journey, they don't necessarily either have the budget or the inclination to invest like that. But I think it's really paid off because I think the branding looks amazing. But, you know, talk me through, why did you, you know, why was that such an important thing to you, and why did you decide to prioritize the branding and, you know, spend so much time getting the right agency and all of that? You obviously think it's sort of a critical part of the puzzle.
Well, I mean, first of all, Nick is a really good like graphic designer as well as a product designer. Just want to put that out there. He did our original branding, and it was really strong.
Yeah, it was amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really good, especially for like a starting block. And we originally were looking for a branding company just to sort of flesh it out a bit, because we just had so much on our plates, and you know, I think we just needed some external eyes on it. We're just too close to it. We've been using it for quite a long time. We couldn't really see anything else, and we ended up, well, speaking to you. I spoke to a few people through you. We ended up finding a company called Hawk & Hansel, who were great. They really understood what we needed. They know that we're working with a finite budget, so they actually cut us a really great deal with how much they delivered for the amount that we paid for, and I think they knew exactly how much to listen to what we wanted, which was just embellish the branding we already have, and how much to ignore us by like offering us other more exciting options. And they really nailed it. Like
they've nailed it. I think it's amazing.
They gave us a few options, and one of them was like our branding with more stuff, and then they gave us what we have now, and we're saying, well, what about this, to try and introduce some color and stuff. And it's we're really glad they did what they did. I think I didn't answer your question properly. I went off on a tangent.
No, I think you did. What I think I think it's just interesting, isn't it, to talk about the branding, because obviously, you know, you got a really good agency involved and they did a great job. And like you said, you know, luckily that you had Nick to get you through the initial early stages and the crowdfund and stuff. And obviously just even the name, really good, because, you know, that's going to be a name that you take on with you. I think it was really interesting, though, like you said, to get an outside perspective on your branding and to get someone outside. And I love the way that they came up with this idea of the tempo and the music, because, you know, music is like fun, and quite often it's when you're cooking, and I don't know, it feels like it's a really good fit for the brand. So are the other products going to be sort of in that music theme?
Yeah, we when we were discussing the different themes, they gave us a few examples of like, this is a sort of naming convention you could potentially explore. And yeah, there were other sort of like loosely musical terms that we can pick from. So yeah, I think it's a really interesting avenue. We're not like leaning too hard on it. Like when you sort of said we're going to do like a musical theme, I was expecting, you know, treble clefs and, you know, stuff like that all over the place, and I was like, no, I'm not into it. But like, they've really done it subtly, and I really like it.
Yeah, it's great. And also I just love the colors, the bright colors and the illustrations, and it just looks really cool. It really does. Yeah, I think
like the thing with our product is that we're trying to create something a little bit different in quite I don't want to be too mean, but like quite a boring and robotic sort of like marketplace. Like everything is quite, well, relatively bland, and in the way to sort of like, I don't know, make products more interesting is they like throw a palette of bold colors onto it. So we kind of wanted the brand to be a little bit more than that. It's sort of the whole adventurous cooking thing is quite a staple, and it's quite a key one for like the product itself, like how you use it. So it's a good fit, I think. And hopefully it's exciting enough brand to kind of give us that little bit more sort of sight on the shelves.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's a good point that Nick made. The maybe competitors, I guess, is a little bit understated, because a lot of the time, like a lot of the other big players in this space are they're not just in the cooking world. They make, you know, vacuum cleaners, they make washing machines and all that sort of stuff. So they can't be too specifically adventurous. You know, they've got to be like a relatively versatile brand. So we've got the opportunity to be a bit more exciting because we're really concentrating on this space.
Yeah, well, you are, and you're going to be the go-to brand in that space, aren't you? And
Hopefully.
you know, you found your niche, and that's where your expertise is, and you've got something that customers want that you can deliver that your competitors don't have. And that sort of triangle is something really interesting. I learned on my mini MBA that if you can do that, you've got something. You know, if you've got something that competitors haven't got, but that clients or customers want, then you know, you're laughing. So we need to keep this short and sweet because we keep it around 20 minutes. But just very quickly, I would love to ask you, what one bit of advice? I mean, this is like you said, it's like an ongoing journey, isn't it? It's a lot of work. You always seem to be very calm and relaxed about it, or you never seem to be stressed. But you know, if you had one bit of advice for founders, like maybe both of you could just say, like, what would it be? You know, what advice would you give to someone who's very early on and, you know, maybe dreaming about setting up their own business but not sure what to do?
I mean, feel like underqualified, even though we're like in the position we are. I still don't feel like.
Well, you're incredible. You are. I mean, you've been incredibly successful. You've done 2 successful crowdfunding campaigns, and you know, you've got lots of people that want your product. So I'd say you're well on the way to, you know.
I think for me, the definite thing that I would say is like don't be sort of afraid to ask for advice. Like one thing that we've done that I think has really like put us in a good position is just if there's ever been an area of the business that we weren't sure about, which has come up a lot, we have been like really keen to ask people what they're, you know, for their advice and get people who are experts in that area to assist. And then they've given us contacts and we've had contacts through contacts. It's just that kind of process it's just been so good. I mean, like Jack said about the Hawk and Handsaw team, like that was a contact through a contact through a contact. Yeah, you sort of, unless you kind of put yourself out there and actually ask people for advice, you don't get that. So it's been very useful.
Yeah, that's very true. I think I mean, yeah, a lot of people are so willing to help. It's crazy. Like, yeah, I didn't think it would be quite as easy to get like genuine interest and help out people. As soon as you like, you know, you ask, people really want to do what they can to get you through and at least pass you on to the right person that can help.
Yeah, I think
and like yourself included. I mean, like we well, how long ago did we first speak to you about what we're working on?
Oh, I don't know. It's quite a long time ago now, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it's
8 months
really,
or something.
Yeah, it really turned us around and got us on the right track and like demystified everything. So I think that was yeah, I think jumping on the back of what Nick said, just if in doubt, ask someone. Everybody wants to help.
Yeah, and that's a great thing, isn't it? I think there's 2 things there. It's like one of them is, you know, is an investment, not a cost, to invest in marketing or invest in people helping. And I think that's such a great thing. And, you know, I invest loads in my business, and you see the people that invest and work with experts. Like I know you've worked with Paul and Hannah and lots of other people who've helped you on your funding journey as well. So yeah, I think that's really important. And the other thing is, you know, people are lovely, aren't they? Everyone loves help. You know, most people just love helping people. And if they can offer a connection or they can help you out in some way, they will. And I think, you know, that's such a great piece of advice. Just reach out to people who are, you know, even people you don't know. They will often be very forthcoming and helpful. Thank you so much, guys, for coming on today and sharing your story. And honestly, like, well done. And I know you're probably going to smash your stretch targets and everything else. And I will keep, is it another month that's up on Kickstarter?
Yeah, 4 months.
Yeah, 29 days.
29 days of excitement. I was literally watching it like every hour last night, and then I was like, oh my God, it's hit the targets. But I'll be keeping track of that, and obviously also sharing it on my social channels. So thanks so much for coming on, and we will catch up soon.
Thanks very much.